good morning. It is Caffeine Corner. It means we're going to be drinking caffeinated drinks and doing stuff. So hi. By the way, this is like my fourth copy. I'm jittery. I've already dribbled. You see that? I'm like shaking. That much coffee today. But the big thing is I type with this hand. So see how much I'm actually really shaking.
One-handed typing.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a blazing Saddles joke. Remember? He's like go like this. Put your hands steady. Yeah, but I shoot with this hand. No, before your time. Anyways, guys, let's get a sound check going.
We're getting echo.
See, this is why we always like ask the audience. I'm not getting it. I can fix your echo. One sec. Give me a second. It's from your dang sources here, so I will fix this. There, and there. Echo's gone now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, NDI really is this. It's sucky. So please start yodeling.
I like it.
All right, so it's definitely gone now. Yeah, I know how to fix that problem now. So cool. One sec here.
We're learning.
I know. Well, one of these days we'll get it down. But until then, so a couple things we got to go over today. Hey, by the way, Sweetie is in the live chat. Say hi to her. Progressive Liberals out there. No Names out there. Justin Franks is out there. He's my webmaster. Hope he's doing well. So this is Caffeine Corner, and we're going to be going over some deleted comments from the Non-sequitur show that has been captured on the Discord by Astronomy Live, which may or may not reflect that of the views of the host and the owner of this channel. But Cheshire, who's not the owner of this channel, whose views may or may not reflect my personal views, wanted to talk about these things. So I'm not going to say no to her. No man has ever said no to her. I doubt if any woman has ever said no to her. So she gets what she wants. Damn it.
You can't stop me.
Like a freaking freight train. And also got Jim Majors with us.
Hello. I have also not been stopped by a woman or man or whatever he said.
That's called rape.
What?
Stalking? No, it's not.
Yeah, I've never been said no to. Well, I've been said no, but that doesn't matter, right, Jim? Is that how you're saying
it? Sure. No? I don't.
No means no.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Exactly.
Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Remember,
next question.
We're on Caffeine. By the way, I love your background. That is just, and that's real. That's like actual acoustic tiling, right?
Touch it, Jim.
Touch it for me.
Yeah, it's actual. It's actual foam.
See, now this is harassment.
No, it's not. I paid good money for this.
So you can wait. So if you pay for it, it can't say no.
If you paid for it, you can touch it.
Okay. Okay.
As long as that is the agreed upon.
Exactly. As long as it's agreed upon, I'm cool with that. Totally. Okay. So before we get too much more demonetized and in trouble with all the SJW community, how about you just jump into this, Cheshire? And by the way, does it tell you how many comments have been deleted? The last time I looked, it was 600 the other day, additional 400, and then additional 50 the last time I looked. So it's definitely a lot. Well over 1,000 comments looks like it's been deleted so far.
I don't know how to check that. I'm
I love
sure
it.
there is a way.
Well, it tells you when you log on to Discord. There's a little bar that goes across the top that says 400 plus new comments.
Oh,
Steve,
yeah, no,
Steve,
it's not there
Steve,
for me anymore.
Don't you think one of me is enough?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need more than one of you.
Oh, I couldn't handle more than one of me.
Yeah, you could barely handle yourself, right?
Yeah.
Even after all the years of practice.
Ayo.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
it's Caffeine,
How long
it's
are we into
Caffeine
this?
Corner, man.
What are we, 4.5 minutes in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't know what he's in for. He's like hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, where you been, Jim? What the
where
hell?
you been, Jim?
Apparently I've been in a much I don't know, much better place.
I've been watching some of your stuff. You've had some good stuff lately.
Rude.
You're on Sock Accounts channel. You've been hanging out with Misha Griffith.
Yeah, I've been having fun over there. I had 2 really good chats on Sock Accounts channel, and one with Dr. Misha Griffith. If she was, I don't know if Jerry didn't have her, she'd be my future ex-wife.
Right. I'm telling you, she's wonderful. I got to fix some of the NDI stuff.
You'll have to compete. You have to compete with me, Jim.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to marry Misha Griffith.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got two Jims in here. We got two Cheshires. I don't know what's going on with Skype and their NDI. There we go. I think it's fixed now. I'm just going to play with it as we go, so the outside doesn't see like 3 Jims because they don't need more than one, right? I think I fixed it now. So, anyways, like I said, Cheshire. I'm not even logged into Discord. I barely go into Discord. As somebody had pointed out, my Discord, where the Great Debate community, sucks. Thank you, Cheshire, for pointing that out. Yeah.
Yo,
what a
up?
backhanded compliment that was. Steve hates Discord. If you see the way he runs the DDC Discord, it's shit.
No, it's not that because you're running it, it's shit. It's because you're not running it that it's shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I had Ocean for. Ocean was the admin for all that. I don't like Discord.
Want me to go yell at Ocean then? I mean, I got him on my Discord over here.
No, because
just right now, I'll just hop in and just be like,
I
everybody can see me do it.
No, I haven't done anything with the GDC Discord, so that's why.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, by the way, Astronomy Live, he basically had some trolls bitching at him that he wasn't monitoring my channel, and Astronomy Live. He capitulated, which I don't give a fuck. He capitulated, put my channel on there now. I haven't deleted anything. These are actually 2 comments that deleted from the owners. So they made these comments and they deleted it. So it captured it. I haven't deleted these comments. So, but I will delete comments by all means. Aussie Globehead, 100 Australian. Holy cow, dude! Just doing a Showbot test. It works. Thank you, Aussie Globehead. Holy cow.
Hi, Aussie.
Hi.
I got to make a video just dedicated to Aussie Globehead. I don't know what it'll be. It'll probably involve some soft porn of some kind, I guess, though, and kangaroos.
I mean, I think you owe him at least a handy.
At least a handy. Yeah, well, I'm doing. I am fine with giving handies as long as it's in the dark. I have been told that's perfectly acceptable. It's not gay at all.
Well, give or receive, I think it's up to him.
Well, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I can receive. I'm cool with that. Ozzy wants to give me one, but I don't think Ozzy Globehead is down for that. But I mean, hey, I'm not going to like stop him if he really wants to. As long again in the dark, has to be done in the dark. I've heard.
I'm sharing screens. Can you see my Discord?
Yes, it works great.
Can you see it on the outside?
Oh, I haven't looked on the outside. That's a good question. No,
the answer is no. You cannot see it on the outside.
But I can fix that. So let's show the screen cap that you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go display capture, and I'm going to overwrite everything else. I love OBS when it works.
When it works.
There we go. I'm just going to overwrite everything else and put the comment on there. How's that?
As long as everybody can see it.
Yeah, they can see it well enough, I guess.
Ta-da!
Well, what'd you do? No.
What?
Yeah, okay. There we go.
So this is Steve's. So for anybody who wants to see what Steve has deleted, since his channel is being monitored now as well, that's what it looks like.
I didn't delete these. These were deleted by the owner. Not the owner, but the person who actually deleted these. Or made these. So that's the problem with this bot. It doesn't differentiate between the two.
Are we ready? We're starting at the bottom today.
Yeah, so, I mean, it might be a little blurry, but I think they can actually read it. Is the best I can do.
I don't know if I can make it. I might be able to make it bigger.
Yeah, if you can make it a little bigger, it might be better for the outside, because I can't change it because it's a display cap. I mean, I'm looking on the outside feed, and it's not that bad. It's legible.
Okay, this is the best. I think this is the best I can do on it.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's fine. That's fine.
All right. So, chat, please forgive me if I'm not looking at you as much as I normally am. I love you. You're right there on my screen, but this is going to be a little difficult. So, Maggie Foster, I am so disappointed. I was hoping for more than axe throwing and crooked politics. I dropped last time. I am dropping now, and I think that's supposed to say won't. Regret. I am not coming back. Oh, and with regret? I don't know. WORH.
Well, don't regret it. If you're going to do it, fucking stick to it.
I am not coming back. This is committing the sin of boring.
Now, like, for the audience, please tell them what video this was from. Again, I am not calling Jimmy out on anything.
Sunday Fun Day with Non-sequitur and Mr. Atheist.
I'm in a okay place with Jimmy. I'm not going to get into a battle with him. I don't fault him that much, believe it or not, because Jimmy, he's sticking up for a friend, right? He thinks Kyle's a friend, and that's fine. he's allowed to do that, and I'm not going to bash on him for doing that. Now, he has been honest. He has said he has not seen any of the financial records. He's just going by, his word that I'm going to get paid. Been 40 days, by the way. Again, can't talk about the case, but I can talk about generalities. It's been 40 days. That's public record. 40 days. And, if somebody wants to ask Jimmy about it, they're more than welcome to. But I'm not particularly going after Jimmy. I know that other people have some issues with him, but they could deal with that on their own time if they want. Or I know Cheshire's not too thrilled, but the views of Cheshire may or may not may reflect that of the channel owner here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea. Tell them what's going on with the video, because this was a basically a streamed video that was basically riding on the coattails of Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. So this is essentially like they had done this a couple of times before the non-sequitur stuff blew up, where they had done two. They would simul stream, where they would stream on Jimmy's channel and they would also stream on non-sequitur, and that's just what this was. I believe, if I'm remembering, this is off the top of my head, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Jimmy had somewhere around 630 to 650 people watching, and non-sequitur had, I think, topped out at about 74. I wasn't watching. I'm just going off of the screenshots that I've seen.
That's when I just looked at it. I don't subscribe to either channel. No, well, actually, I do subscribe to Jimmy, even though I don't watch his stuff. But I don't subscribe to the Non-Sequitur show. But I'm just not interested in Jimmy's content, and not that I think he's a bad guy. I think that I think he's in a bad position. That's all. I think he's probably a very decent guy. It's just that he's in a very just hard rock and a hard place right now. But he is allowing somebody to come on his channel where there's obviously some ethical considerations, I think. And I think a lot of people think that now. And that's something that he's going to have to deal with. But yeah, there was only, I guess, 76 people watching Non-Sequitur, and I would guess probably half of those were hate views, because most of them are banned from the live chat now. Because again, I don't want people to forget. We're going to be doing this once a week, every so often. And it's not for drama. I'm not facilitating making drama. I'm responding to what's going on, because I think people have a right to know. And if people want to say, well, Steve's playing on the drama, go ahead, knock yourself out. I think people have a right to know.
Well, I mean, side note, it's not necessarily even that, because we also haven't done this in a couple of weeks, and even when we have had our coffee hangout, this isn't the only thing that we've done so far. Right. So there'll be other stuff, other days. We're also
going to be talking about RNA later on this hangout, so we got more fun stuff.
We got... I enjoy that the first comment is saying that this is committing the sin of boring on a video titled Sunday Fun Day. Simon Grove, moderate me, senpai.
I don't know why anybody would want to be a moderator over there. I mean, it's just all they do is delete people.
I don't know if they were asking to be a moderator or if they were asking to get moderated out.
Yeah, I am drama, by the way, somebody said. Yeah, well, you know what? If you people want to think that I'm drama, that's great. Watch, don't watch, knock yourself out either way. It doesn't really affect any of us here. We're having fun. And I think people have a right to know, but if somebody wants to accuse that of being drama, go for it.
I mean, in Steve's defense, you talk about controversial things, and with that's going to come drama no matter what. So
it's kind of hard to get away from it, but the drama, when I talk about drama, to me, that's people making drama, people making shit up in order to get views. We're just responding to stuff. We're just showing stuff. We're not making anything up. I would call Cheshire out if she fabricated something just as much as she would call me out, and Jim as well. Because, right, Jim?
Yeah, Jim, fuck you.
Yeah, Jim. Stop making shit up about me, Jim.
I wouldn't make it up about you if it weren't possible.
It wouldn't be made up if it was true, right?
It's possible.
Think about that.
It's a strong possibility.
If it's true, it's not made up.
Yeah.
I like this person's name. Trigger Tits. Echo! Oh. So empty in here. Where did all the comments go?
That's awesome.
They're right here.
They're right there. We captured them. It's pretty bad that Astronomy Live had to use his bot to capture these. He never had a problem before, but Astronomy Live's bot actually broke the other day. He has a hard limit of how many API calls he can have, and there was a massive purge from the videos on the Non-Sequitur Show channel of about 600 videos after he got our letter for our letter of demand. So, which, by the way, isn't enforceable, and it's no legal things that he had to abide by that. It's just it's a step you have to take before you can take actual legal procedures that the courts have to make him abide by. Yeah.
Simon Grove, just stopping by to watch the channel burn. Looking forward to the looming court case.
See, I told you he wasn't asking to be a mod. He was telling them to ban him.
Yeah, he
Called
was just
it.
basically
I gotcha.
that's the equivalent of an acceptable rage quit.
There's been a numerous amount of people that rage quit over there, and it's so funny because most of them were, most of them were standing up for Bull when they got rage
Oh
quit.
yeah.
Which was fine. I mean, what about Bull?
But what's great though is that he obviously knew that he was going to get banned. Like he knew that whatever he said was going to get him banned. So he was like, I'm going to make it good.
Yeah.
Moderate me, senpai.
Yeah. Somebody asked, "Do you
Jerry-
have his lawyer's name
sorry.
yet?" No. I'm still convinced there's no lawyer involved there on his end. You know.
Jerry Farmer, pay Steve what you owe him, Kyle. The Freakazoid, where opinions are sacred.
Yeah.
End
That
quote.
that statement doesn't really hold too well anymore now, does it?
Iorenzo S is Mr. Atheist your attorney? Because it says is because
Yeah,
it
Because
listen,
it's so,
I'm trying to read them, okay?
oh,
Because is it so you will fail more than you are failing now?
I see now. Okay. Because is it so? Okay, well,
Listen, YouTube comments aren't known for their literacy.
is it YouTube comments or YouTube commenters?
Commoners.
Both.
And by the way,
Commentator.
I don't know how many comments like Jimmy has deleted. We're not monitoring his chat, or we're not monitoring his channel, so he might have. I heard that some people have said so. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard that his admins were deleting people from the live chat if they talked about any of this. Now, I'm okay with people doing that to some degree, as far as like if they don't want to have that discussion and there's something else going on. I get that, right? It is distracting, and I will kind of agree with Jimmy a little bit on that. However, we're not going to let this be whitewashed. We're not going to let people forget about this. I am convinced that they're relying on the fact that people will forget about this over time, and that will naturally happen. But we will do everything in our power to prevent that from happening, because by deleting comments and going on other people's channels and not talking about it and not allowing people to talk about it, it's trying to get new people in that don't know anything about what happened, trying to build a new audience. And especially riding on Jimmy's coattail with his audience, who's most of them are not fans of Kyle's to begin with, I don't think. But we're gonna keep this in the forefront of people's minds, and would like everybody who was a non-sequitur fan to do the same thing. Keep it in the forefront of people's minds that what happened was not cool when it came to the Patreon, when it came to the fans, when it came to the people buying merchandise. I think all of them got screwed.
Flip Flood. Keep deleting comments, Kyle, until the only comments left are those of discount Captain Jack Sparrow.
Arrgh, matey.
Phil Pott. Pay Steve. ... You nasty, horrible little conboy. Shit show. ... Your guests are the same people over and over. This will be deleted because Kyle but his hurt.
Yeah, I have
Aw.
noticed there's been a lot of
Go
the same
fuck yourself.
people. Go figure. It's been Katie, GE, Nose Picker, Booger Man, whatever his Joe. It hasn't been a lot of variety or intellectual conversation. Again, I will shit all over GE and shit all over Katie and KC as much as I freaking like. They're not involved in any court case. I can say what I like about them. I have not said anything about Kyle, nor do I intend to. But I can say anything I fucking want over on GE. What a vile piece of shit that he's turned out to be. And I will shit all over Katie for making absolutely ridiculously inaccurate statements, not checking her facts, not caring if the facts are the facts, and then blocking people that actually were in the discussions that she had said certain things about that were not true. That to me is worthy of being condemned on, and I will being condemned, and I will condemn them on that. I'm really caffeinated, by the way, right now. This is what happens when you get overly caffeinated. Holy shit, people.
Discount Captain Jack Sparrow is one of the moderators on the channel right now. I don't know what his name actually is because it's like my computer doesn't read what the name is because it's all symbols, not like the alphabet that I'm familiar with. And that person has been bragging that they've been deleting comments. Now I'm not 100% sure how it
could
works.
be RJ then. RJ was bragging he was leading comments too.
Oh yeah. That would be right.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure how it works because if I'm not mistaken, a moderator can only moderate live chat. They can't moderate comments after the fact.
No, they can't. No. If they're communication manager, they can go in and they can remove comments.
Yes, if they're just a mod though.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think I'm pretty sure that the owner has to approve those.
Right. So either way, it's still Kyle's responsibility.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, these are being captured. Stuart Braun, $10. Twitter wars to the bitter end. Yeah, I miss some Twitter wars, but I've been calm on Twitter. I've been doing other stuff, so haven't really gotten too many Twitter dumpster fires lately. Sorry. No, not RJ Downard people. No, different RJ.
It's okay. I've been keeping the fire burning.
Have you? Good. I'm glad that you're walking in my footsteps.
Yeah, I'm actually really eager for SJ. SJ, respond to my tweet, SJ, please.
Do you want to have a discussion with SJ?
Yes, please.
I can make that happen, probably.
We were talking about Daniel 9, and she believes that Daniel 9 dated to 600 years before Jesus was born, so back to 600 BCE. And so I just asked her what made her believe that it was written in 600 BCE, and why doesn't she think that that they included Daniel with the Nevi'im? Why did they put him in the Ketuvim? Why did they put him in with the writings instead of with the prophets' writings?
If that's the discussion you want to have with her, I can bring it up.
Yeah, if it is a prophecy. Well, she made this poll, right? Yeah. And it was like, which of these prophecies in the Old Testament do you find the most compelling? The prophecies about Jesus, messianic prophecies. And she listed 3 of them. So I'm assuming that these are what she believes are the 3 best references to Jesus in the Old Testament. And they're very, very easily debunked. I would love to have a conversation over those 3.
Let's do it. I'll ask her. Like I said, I think SJ says some pretty vile things. Don't get me wrong. But I rather have people like SJ that at least she believes what she believes and I have a good rapport with, than have people like Matt Powell's, right? So, I mean, people say, like, how do you platform SJ? Why do you give her mods? All this other stuff. Because, I mean, these are the people that we want to have conversations with, either to get through to them or to get through to other people. So, by eliminating people to have conversations with, you're not doing yourself any favor.
Because at least they'll have a conversation. That's why.
Yeah, she is very good at having conversations. And personally, I kind of like her. I mean, again, it's weird because you have to separate the things that they say from the individual. And I think she's well-meaning, but just makes a lot of stupid comments. By the way, real quick, if you haven't subscribed to the Geek Room, go over to the Geek Room real quick. You can find them in the live chat there with Frankie and Brandon over there. I'm on there every so often. Brulinator's producing for them. They're like the discount version of the Drunken Peasants.
Yeah, you want to support Bool, head over there.
Yeah, it's like DP Light. That's actually their tagline, DP Light. So, but go check out the Geek Room, because I love those guys over there. And by the way, I need to be on more often. Hint.
Like it.
Yeah.
Kazira, why do my comments keep getting deleted? I post honest comments with no bad language.
Fuck!
Shit! Les Nagy. It's like listening to 2 girls talking teenage nonsense for an hour on the phone. Is there ever going to be actual content? Oof! Hey, listen, don't shit on teenage schoolgirls. They didn't do anything to you. They have a bad rap.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This has nothing to do with the takeover. It has the fact that these last things that have been on that channel have been shit. This is why I didn't want to have much to do with GEKC or Katie or any of them. They're shit, in my opinion, and I think that they're crap in what they do. And I think that I watched one of them episode with Katie, and I was mortified. I was like, this is complete garbage. And so if people want to watch that, they're more than welcome to. But I have every right to express my views. I think that everything on that channel is just crap, absolute crap right now.
No Mo's. 250 dislikes, but only 33 comments. Weird, no? Kyle, isn't that weird?
Now, again, I don't mind people deleting comments.
It's almost like all the comments are going somewhere.
Yeah, I don't mind people deleting comments, but here's the thing. Again, there was a letter asking don't delete comments because we wanted to put for the record, which obviously will be used in litigation. But also, this is a clear whitewashing attempt. This is not just eliminating some comments because it's distracting or it has nothing to do with the video. I do that. If something is way off base, I've had Theas come in and put all caps, like full paragraphs, that have nothing to do with anything. I just eliminate all that. It's just spam. or people talking about things that are relevant to the video. I get that. So when trolls come in, they're done. But these are not people that are trolling. These are not people that are trying to talk about things that are completely irrelevant. This is a relevant thing on that channel. And it's just basically whitewashing, like it never happened.
Shaky Vacky. Whoever is deleting all the comments is doing Kyle no favors at all, as it is making the channel look really bad. Same with the live chat. There aren't many debate channels where the live chat is filled mostly with the moderators because they have banned almost everyone else. These are not the tactics of a rational debate channel, and despite what's his dough, I really can't imagine this is the direction Kyle was talking about taking the channel in.
By the way, I have a lot of moderators too, but my moderators do not moderate that much. Matter of fact, if you notice, they very rarely have to time anybody out, and they very rarely have to hide anybody.
Yeah, usually they're yelling at Steve because of technical issues.
Yeah.
Eric Ross. Boo! Jared Hay, wasn't there an order to cease activity on this channel?
Well, yes, there wasn't an order. Okay, again...
Listen, Steve, you're not allowed to talk about this.
Well, no, I talk about generalities. A generality means that's something that anybody can go find for public information. A cease and desist is not the exact same thing as a demand letter. Demand letter is what you do prior to a cease and desist, right? You ask first, and you say, this is what we'd like before we go to litigation and ask the courts to do it. Because once you go to courts, then obviously it costs money. Now, I can tell you right now, again, public information, because anything that I talk about is something that's already been made public or can be found publicly. That way I don't get into specificities of the case. But the person who's funding this stuff... What's that? Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I just want everybody commenting on these videos and everybody that's getting banned, I want you to know that you are making their mods earn their 5%.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm fine with people commenting over there. But the person who's funding this, they're willing to dump a lot of money just to make Kyle pay. And they're worth a lot of money, and they want to do it because of vengeance and honor. Somebody had to say, well, why don't you just give Steve the money instead? I'd rather not have the money. I'd rather have it done. Kyle gave me the money, and it done to show the efficacy, right? So it's not just about money. I have ethical considerations here, and the person funding this has ethical considerations here. And we want to make sure that this does not happen to somebody else. So.
This shaky vacky comment is exactly a comment that should not have been deleted.
Like, well, again, they might have deleted deleting
deleting the boo. No, I don't think this person deleted this comment. This is a well-worded, thought-out comment.
I can't read it, so you're gonna have to read it to me.
Oh no, this is whoever is deleting all the comments is doing Kyle no favors. I don't think this person would have deleted this. Like deleting boo is just kind of petty, but this one shouldn't be deleted. This is a well-thought-out, concerned person saying what they think. Simon Grove was on a roll, I guess. So how many comments deleted? So much butthurt, so much guilt. Trekkie Junk, what the fuck is a pre-sequel?
I don't know. I didn't watch this episode.
That's a good question.
I think we call that part one.
I don't watch Atheist and I don't watch NSS, so I don't know anything about what they're referring to, and I'm not going to.
I think I might be able to answer that question. A pre-sequel would be like Devil May Cry 3. So if you play the Devil May Cry games in chronological order, you have to play the second one, the first one, then the third one. I think
what kind of retarded Star Wars shit is that?
That's probably what it is. A prequel of a prequel.
If I've gotten the order right, I'm pretty sure you have to play chronologically. You have to play 2 first, then 1, then 3. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Don't quote me, but then you would have essentially the first game. Then the second game comes before the first game, and then the third game goes between them. Or some shit.
Roy says... Oh, sorry, real quick. Roy said $2. Reds told me there'd be a donkey show. Reds lies. He's a liar. He's a big fat liar.
No, he said that because I'm here.
Oh. Cheshire's a liar, too. I'm a liar. We're all big-time liars, don't you know? That's all we do is lie.
All right, I've been corrected. It is 3-1-2 for Devil May Cry. That's the order you have to play them in.
She lied. Right there. You just caught her. See? It is a well-established fact. If you fuck up, it's a lie. Yeah. Have you ever, real quick, have you ever heard of something called what is it called? Russell's oh my goodness. Russell's conjecture, I think it's called.
No, I'm not familiar. What's that?
It's a principle in linguistics where you're more likely to be judging other people more in a worse way than yourself. And so Russell would say something along the lines of, you know what? Let me see if I can find it so I can do it justice. I think it's called Russell's conjecture.
Modern day debates is saying paradox.
No, it's not Russell's paradox. It's called Russell's conjunction. It's also known as a motive or conjugation. Russell's conjugation, also known as a motive conjugation. And basically, in Russell's conjugation, he'll say something like, I have reconsidered the matter. In other words, it's very favorable to say, you know what? I thought about it. I pondered it. I've changed my mind. However, you have changed your mind, which sounds a little bit more, less charity, principle charity. And then somebody else, he has gone back on his word.
Right.
Right? Or I am firm in my beliefs. You are obstinate in your beliefs. And he's a pig-headed fool. Right? These are different ways of expressing what's called irregular verbs to describe something in a less charitable position from yourself to somebody else to a third party. So it's called emotive conjugation, or what's called Russell's conjugation if you want to look it up. It's very interesting, but I thought I'd throw that out there because I see an awful lot. Interesting, right?
It is interesting.
You learned something on this channel. Huh, go figure.
Sometimes, once in a while. We learn how to mod this shit better. Sometimes. Soft axe. Whatever. ACX. Fuck off. Attention. Kyle stole this channel. He also deletes comments which are simply pointing this out. Also bans accounts for no reason. What a loser. Don't support this thief. Don't forget to unsub. Stop Patreon support. If you want more information, watch, quote, The Death of the Non-Sequitur Show.
Wait, no. I think you read that wrong. It's Kyle stole the channel. He also deletes comments which are simply pointing this out. What a loser. Don't support this thief. Don't forget to unsub. Stop Patreon support. If you want more information, watch The Death of the Non-Sequitur Show.
That's impressive. I give you props.
Yeah, I'm jealous of your Donald Trump impression. Tony
Beautiful.
B, cute tag on your jacket. Is that how much your integrity is worth?
I'm envious of you. You're envious of something what somebody else has. You're jealous somebody will take something away from you.
No, I am jealous because my Donald Trump impression is pretty good for a girl.
But nobody's going to take that away from you.
He is. It's just that's what just happened.
For a girl?
Yeah. I'm sorry. For a girl.
Well, yeah, but we know that you're not a girl.
Did I take something from you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I accept that you're trans, and I think that you're hot.
I'm bigly sorry. Drink your coffee and calm down, lady.
Bigly. Okay, yeah, cute tag on.
Go back to your country.
I didn't leave.
By the way, Patreon for non-sec, again, public information is down to 42 from 148.
Tony B, cute tag on your jacket. Is that how much your integrity is worth?
Oh, you know what? I didn't know what that was referring to because when I was looked to see how many people were watching, again, I don't watch the video, but I saw a tag on his lapel, $400. Yeah, it's trying to divert from the actual, crux of everything because, $400 suitor and his $400 suits.
Liz said, love this combo. Thanks all. This looks like it was a comment that was deleted by the person who wrote it.
What was it?
Love this combo. Thanks all.
Yeah, that was probably deleted from the person. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, I was having to unblock comments and questions that were completely innocuous. Casey and Katie were blocking for no reason. So much better here. Yeah, like I said, my mods don't block that often. Matter of fact, I don't even like them to hide people. The only people
usually people don't get blocked on this channel unless they've been called out to be blocked by somebody that's in the on the show.
Right.
Like if Steve says, you know what, this person is a problem, get rid of them. That's right. When somebody will get blocked.
Yeah, and that's the way I like it. I don't want them to arbitrarily just start hiding people. Even timeouts, I'm not a big fan of. So you don't see them mod very often. But when the trolls come over, then they start doing their stuff. But there's a handful of people, I'd say at least 5 in my live chat, 5 mods that know pretty much 99% of everything in history of this channel and everything else. They know who to time out or to get rid of. They instinctually, and that's why I have them as mods.
Yeah. Crooked Non-Sequitur Show. That's the name of the person who made the fucking comment. This is so cringy. People seeing this, please unsubscribe from this con artist. Kyle, pay back Steve. Jimmy, why'd you influence Kyle to make such a terrible decision? Notice not even Shannon will come on now.
I don't know if Jimmy influenced him or not. I mean, again, I have really no idea. I think obviously there was influential forces, but
there was no collusion.
But I'm telling you, Jimmy's probably going to eventually have to answer to his, stalwart, I guess, approach to saying that yes, Steve's going to get his money. Now, here's the question I have to ask to you guys. If somebody says, "Well, I'm going to get my money," is that count if I get it through the court system or if somebody does it on their own accord? I don't think it counts if I have to spend time and money to get money due me. If I eventually get some money out of it through the legal system, I don't think that counts as Jimmy saying I'll get my money. When Jimmy says and Katie says that I'll get paid, I think that they're inferring inferentially that from Kyle's promise that I'll get my money. Is that a fair way of looking at it, or should I give more charity? I don't think I should give some charity on that. I think that if I go legally to get what is due me, that doesn't count as getting my money. What do you guys think? This is an ethics question, actually.
I mean, so it all depends on you. Like, my opinion has nothing to do with it. Like, it's all about where you feel satisfied, where you feel vindicated.
Right, but I get that, but does it count?
Like my whole position, I'm sure you've heard me say it other places, is that I just want both of you to get what you deserve, whatever that may be, and that's all I'm here for.
Yeah, I get that.
That's only a little bit ominous.
But does that count? If I say, let's say I say Cheshire is going to get her money. Now, if Jim owes Cheshire money and Jim doesn't pay it, but she gets it through legal remedy, that means. I think me saying that she gets her money doesn't count because I'm implying that Jim's going to do it because he's a good, upstanding guy and he owes her money. So I'm not going to, if I get my money through legal systems, I'm not going to think that was Jimmy or Katie's promise being fulfilled. I'm sorry.
So what it would be is they would still technically be correct.
Right. Technically.
But
not ethically.
The caveat of that is the context of the conversation is that no, they were absolutely wrong, but they were right by accident.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's a good way of putting it.
It's the same difference. It's the same difference from like if your friend borrows a tool from you, and your neighbor borrows your tool from you, and you say, "Hey man, you got that tool?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'll bring it by later." And next day goes by, "Hey man, you got that tool?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll bring it by later. Don't worry about it." And it just keeps going and going and going. That's the difference. But you eventually get it back, right? Like you still have the tool. You had to go through the effort of finding out that your neighbor's a piece of crap. Well, or not a piece of crap, but that he sucks at the very least.
Well, let's say Cheshire stole your axe, right? And you've been waiting weeks to get your axe back, right?
And now he's got an axe to grind.
And he's got an axe to grind. And he goes now Jim goes over and he gets his axe from her. And she says, "Well, you got it back." Well, yeah, but that's, again, a technicality thing, right? You didn't give it back because you're supposed to give it back. That's how it works. You borrow something, you give it back.
And not only that, but she said that she was going to keep it. That's why I had to go over and get it, because she said that she was going to keep it.
God damn it, Chess. Stop taking his stuff.
Or on top of that, if you have to put an effort to get it back and I don't give it back willingly, that's
Bullshit.
Also a different issue.
That is my axe in perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
But I sharpened it for you and everything. I even cleaned the blood off of it.
By the way, I'll throw this out there. People have been asking my Patreon. My Patreon has gone up, but people. The thing on Patreon is it varies a lot, even from month to month. People have things that come up, and by the way, I'm very thankful when people say, "Hey, Steve, this month I can't. I'm sorry I can't. I had to change my pledge and all that stuff." I totally get it. By the way, you don't need to message me and tell me that. I understand because people seem like they're really sad about there. They're like, "I'm so sorry that it got declined." Blah blah blah. I have never once. Well, okay, when I first started, because I was only like 5 Patreons, but I haven't in ages asked anybody about their declines. If somebody is declined, it's up to them. I know people. There are people out there, content creators, that will literally go to each person and say, "Hey, your Patreon got declined. God damn it!" I don't bother with that. It's just not my thing.
Sounds like a nightmare.
But if people want to be a patron, the link is in the video description. That is my main source of income right now. Is going to be Patreon. So I really do appreciate anybody who becomes a patron, even if it's for $1, $2. I have done tiers only because people asked me to, because they said it's very difficult to subscribe to Patreon and kind of get what they want. I think they're right on that. It's not as easy as it should be. So I just did tiers, and that's only to set that up that way. It's not like for any benefits. So because I think everybody should get the same benefits.
Real non-sequitur. Hey, Kyle, are you still going to keep on deleting comments? The irony. Yes.
the irony. Yes.
Andrew Handelsman. Just keep making the show like you own this channel. So glad you got served papers. Be nice to see Steve get this channel back.
Yeah, technically, if they weren't served, and again, I will make sure that the record is straight, there's been no serving of papers. There has been a demand letter. That comes first. There's a systematic thing that happens in any kind of legal proceedings. So the first step has already been done.
You still need the new channel link in the description. Cold War 45. So what are you gonna know now that Steve has sent you that letter, Kyle? You only have a few days left before this goes to court.
Yeah, he has till Friday. It's actually because it's 7 business days, so it's till Friday, and I'm willing to even start legal proceedings on Monday.
It's becoming like the Bermuda Triangle here. You float a comment and it disappears, never to be seen again. Well, it's been seen again. You're welcome.
You're welcome. I like that. You're
so
welcome.
Much fun. You pay Steve, get Kyle.
I think a lot of people keep forgetting that point. It's been 40 days and I haven't seen a dime. For these people out there going supporting him and saying, hey, you know what, you'll get paid. 40 days, people. Okay, there's nothing that takes 40 days. Okay, so the people that I'm sorry, but the people that think that he's just going to give me money, I think you're out of your freaking mind. I think you're absolutely delusional, because it's not. If that was the case, we wouldn't be spending money for legal proceedings, right? Roy, for $2, what Patreon level gets me the donkey shows?
You have to come over to my Patreon for that.
Yeah, and you probably get that for free if you're really, really nice to her. Jens von Brockhaven, Cheshire is a huge upgrade over Kyle. This I agree. Cheshire is amazing. I use her frequently, but she's not the only person that I think is amazing. Sarah Michelle has been absolutely incredible. Jim is awesome. Nick Suter is incredible, except when he fucks up the price of suits. We have a great consistency in the Great Debate community in this channel, and also the Great Debate community channel, which is John has been running some really amazing hangouts over there.
Just love watching those views and subs goes down. I strongly disagree with your actions, sir. Pulls off glove, slaps Kyle, puts glove on. I say, good day, sir. I said good day. Laughing emojis.
I can just imagine him spinning on the heels and slamming a screen door.
Do you guys agree with me that you think that there's a whitewash going on, that channel's trying to build a whole new base?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
at least that he's gonna build a whole new base because he has to. He doesn't have any other choice.
Well, the old base ain't coming back.
Well, the thing is though is that he has to conform the channel to whatever his existing base is, right? The people that have stayed with him, and like that's going to really throw off the flow of things and the dynamics of the group. I mean, as a whole. So you have to, you got to pander to him.
I think you're right on that. And by the way, there's been a video out just recently in a podcast from somebody named Week in Doubt. I don't know who he is. Go check it out. Week in Doubt did a last review of things going on, and I got to tell you, I think he nailed it across the board. Listen to the podcast or go to the YouTube channel Week in Doubt and listen to that. His summary, like I said, may or may not reflect that of the channel owner here for legal reasons, but I think he nailed it.
Lord King Blue. So who is Mr. Top Bun, and why is he so pretentious?
Oh,
that's not fair, because I like his hair. I do.
He has fabulous hair. I'll give him that. Again, for Jimmy doing whatever he does, whatever. I just think that he's going to have a lot of backlash. Eventually, when it comes out that I personally think he's been lied to. Go figure.
I will, that or not, I still think that he's a good person. I do like him. I think
he tries to be a good person. I think he's just he's biased a lot, and I think that he's listening to wrong people. But I don't think Jimmy's a bad person. I think GE's a bad person. I think Katie's a bad person. I think KC's a bad person.
Yeah. Well, I'll go as far to say that he's misled.
Yeah.
Creepy unicorn with lasers. Excuse me while I just copy this real quick, and I'm just gonna put this over on here because I kind of want to paint that now. Kyle, liar, cheat, and immoral gay husband. Pay Steve, honor your agreement, stop trying to whitewash your comment section.
See, I'm not the only one that thinks that. Whitewash.
Exactly. The internet does not forget.
It really doesn't. Yeah, the internet doesn't forget. Not
it's like this person knew we were going to read their comment. Ta-da!
Yeah, it doesn't forget, especially something like this. I won't let it be forgotten, even after all this is said and done. I think that it's something that needs
Steve,
to be...
you wouldn't have to say anything, and this would perpetuate.
I think so as well.
You're supposed to say "ta-da" before you present something, not after. Now I'm expecting a gift.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Like you said, like ta-da, like as you present it. Ta-da!
Oh, by the way, can I bring this up too? I really want to bring this up, if I may. Pufflepugus says they're going after Bull and trying to say he nuked the non-sequitur Discord. Yeah. What about Bull? If I'm telling you right now, if you think Bullinator of all people have ethical considerations, you are one fucked up human being. Bullinator has done nothing wrong. He helped manage the Discord. He has purged old things, which happens frequently. He's not the one that wrecked the NS Discord. It was Look-a-Pig. I had nothing to do with that. Bullinator had nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. And so people that are trying to lay this charge that Bullinator did something wrong or did something unethical on the
I was there,
Discord,
and I was a high-level mod at the time.
Let me just say that people that are saying that about Bullinator, that's all you need to know about their ethical considerations. These are unethical fucktards, straight up.
Yeah, I was actually there in the Discord because I was moderating. I was also the highest level mod outside of the only step higher than me there were 4 of us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the only step higher than
have fallen.
The only step higher than, well, no, because I'm just on a different channel now. But the only one higher than me was Kyle and Bool, because Kyle was still owner of the channel. Bool had nothing to do with that. The only thing that Bool, which we got approved by him, was that we were doing like a silent, like everybody that was in the channel and in the chat at the time decided to do a silent protest, and we all changed our pictures to Steve and all our names to Steve. And then some people got a little bit angry, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not going to throw anybody over the bus.
I had nothing to do with that. I didn't ask him.
No, he didn't. Steve wasn't in the Discord because he doesn't fucking use Discord. But I screenshot it and sent it to him.
But you notice,
and we sent it to Bool as well.
But you notice they're going to go after anybody now. They go after Bull. They go after you. They go after Nick. These people don't give a shit about facts. All they do is they got hate boners. They've had hate boners for years, and they'll use anything to try to get to me.
Yeah,
and it's fine that they do, because it just has no effect on my life. But it definitely shows that there are people out there that don't give a fuck about facts. What they only give a shit about is, oh, here's a person I don't like. I'm going to go after them personally rather than going after their arguments.
Well, it's not just that either. It's that they see the familiar bandwagon pass by, and they don't know where they're going. They don't know what the bandwagon is. They just know that they've been on it before. They know the same person's driving it, so they're going to hop on and ride it wherever.
All the time.
I would also like to point out that Look-a-Pig is not the sole person responsible. There were others involved in unleashing Look-a-Pig. Look-a-Pig didn't have the permissions. Look-a-Pig didn't have the permissions to do those things until later. I'm not going to again name names about how that went down. Some people got upset,
but you know that it wasn't me.
But it was not Steve, as he was not only was he not online at the time, like on Discord, but he hates it.
I found about it after the fact.
and also Bool was busy, which is why that essentially ended up happening.
But I think, Robert, wait, quick. Didn't Katie say something? Was it Katie that said something about me having to do with the Discord, doing like screwing it over or something like that? Because I'm not sure if it was or not, so I'm not going to say that it was. But somebody has been saying that I had something to do with that. It's like, no. Again, get your facts straight. But go ahead.
Robert. Oh, look, Mr. Atheist on the show again. Digging yourself deeper, Kyle.
Well, actually, he's not on the show again. It's actually Mr. Atheist's show, and then Kyle's just restreaming it to the Non-sequitur show channel. He's just writing his coattails.
In this case, yeah.
Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior Nicolas Cage says, "Just came here to dislike. Thank you, Nicolas Cage. Be blessed." Lamau. They just deleted Lamau. The Earth is flat because. Oh, did we just jump?
Yeah.
I think we jumped. Yeah, we jumped videos.
Yeah. Well, there's been comments deleted from multiple videos. So
the Earth is flat because nobody died in space. Ha 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 ha. Or how about it would be great for both flat earthers and globe earthers if somebody could figure out why the horizon cuts off at the bottom of buildings on the horizon. Somebody should look into that. My lord, it just keeps getting better. Except for Steve being gone. GE, while I like the guy, is no substitute for a tactical debater.
No shit.
No, he's not. This is the most common thing I hear about GE. He sucks at debates.
I think we should cut it there and jump out since we've jumped things and go to our next thing.
All right, so let me go back to the OBS here and get rid of this real quick. Oh man, did I blow that up too much? Let me. Woo! That's disturbing. Okay. So let me go back to my video here. Now I got to find out where I put that. Where did I put the video that we're going to be doing? Oh, yeah. Here we go. There we go. Now it should be back to normal, guys. Is it on the outside chat? Does it look halfway normal?
That's better, yeah.
All right. So you guys might remember this guy. This is atheist versus. By the way, we have like 400 people watching. As soon as we get into this, we'll have like 12 people watching because a lot of people aren't interested in this. But that's fine. Whatever. I am. But this guy here, Atheism versus Logic is his name. Or his channel that he goes by, and he had a couple more videos that came out. This one was on atheism and construction of RNA, and it's really weird because I don't know why he keeps relating the two. It's an intelligent design argument at best. It's a teleological versus teleonomic argument at best. But all he does here is kind of try to explain how protein synthesis works. I don't think he does a very good job because it's confusing, and if I had no idea how it actually worked, the basics, I would be in no idea what the hell he's talking about. But it's not an argument against atheism, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with atheism whatsoever. The best it can get you is there's maybe some kind of intelligence, but that's not going to get you to a deity. I don't think it even gets you to any kind of deification, supernatural things whatsoever. But even then, I don't think there's intelligence necessarily has to be because we have our protein synthesis. I think that's a very bad argument that intelligent designers use because it's like the watchmaker argument. But we're going to be playing a little bit of this. It's not very long. It's only like 6 minutes. So how about we just do that? Sound good?
If you actually want a really good analogy instead of the one you're about to listen to, go check out Rachel Oates' video. She's got Can Life Come From Non-Life? She uses a really good analogy about, she uses baking and making cookies. It's very good.
I love Rachel Oates. She's amazing. All right. So should be able to see this now and hear it. Let me know on the outside chat.
I'm just going to be 1 second. My dog's freaking out.
Logic. And what I want to talk about is construction. Mainly the construction of proteins inside the cell and what that looks like and how amazing that is. And, you know, it's done by ribosomes and RNA, and there's RNA and ribosomes. So there's 3 main types of RNA: mRNA, rRNA, and tRNA. Now, mRNA is the copy of the genetic information, the genetic code, blueprint, recipe from the DNA, but it's not the whole thing, it's sections of it. And that is copied and then carried out into the cytoplasm and delivered to a ribosome. Now,
okay, so real quick, he's just basically telling people there's different types of RNA, which is fine. Messenger, transmittal RNA, and there's regulatory RNAs. But RNA is produced from the DNA. So DNA will under transcription, will produce an mRNA, which is the counterponent of the complement set of the DNA. That will be transmitted out through the nucleus to the cytoplasm, to the RNA, or the ribosomes that are in the the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and that'll produce protein. So he's just relating what's called basically the central dogma of biology, which is transcription, mRNA to translation. Again, this has been known for a very long time. I don't have any idea what this has to do with atheism.
Ribosome is made up of rRNA, ribosomal ribonucleic acid, and proteins. And then you have tRNA that brings the amino acids to the ribosome. So you've got a ribosome that is 2 pieces that goes around a strand of mRNA. And then you've got the tRNA that brings the amino acid and it connects it in the right sequence so that the mRNA has the information for that protein. Proteins are made up of amino acids.
Now, let me ask you guys, for people that don't know biology, would any of you understand basically what he's talking about without pictures? If he's going to describe this, I think it would be a lot better if he actually just showed a picture of how a ribosome works when you have the large and small subunits of the RNA. And that the tRNA will have a charged amino acid with it, right? It brings an amino acid to the RNA and it puts it on because of the 3 letters, the codon sequence. So you can go to a codon chart and say, okay, this particular 3 letters will code for a specific amino acid. That amino acid gets put in the peptide chain, and that chain comes out of the back of the amino acid. And that long strand will eventually form what's called a protein, which is basically a polypeptide. Now, if I was actually going to describe this, I'd actually show you guys using pictures, and I actually have a video somewhere along the line with this process. I don't know why he's going into biology. If he's talking about atheism, that's one thing. If he's talking about biology, that's another thing. This is not an argument against atheism. It's just simply not. It is just describing basic biological principles of protein synthesis. I mean, Jim, you're not really into biology. Would you know anything what he just said without having a little bit more diagrams to explain it?
Without having diagrams?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he doesn't know what he's talking about, because I feel like he'd be able to explain it better.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to know, we can get a biologist in one of these days to explain this particular process. I've done videos on it before. In fact, I had a presentation. I think when I did coding, I explained how tRNA works, and I explained how the amino acid comes in. I explained how the ribosome kind of does this process. But without having a little more background in biology, without having a little bit more visual aids, I don't think what he's describing is coming across to most people that will not have any background in biology.
And so the tRNA brings the amino acid, and it connects to the right spot.
I mean, it's not wrong, by the way.
It links. It just keeps reading the mRNA. The tRNA keeps bringing amino acids, connecting the amino acids to each other in a very specific sequence. Do you understand that?
I love the way he says this. He's like, somebody had mentioned in the live chat, he's like talking to elementary students. This is exactly what it sounds like to me when I heard this first time. Do you understand this? It sounds like he's talking to a 3-year-old. Do you understand protein synthesis? Because you're.
Do you understand? Do you know? Are you getting this? Are you stupid?
It's like he's the only person that took biology, for God's sake, and it's just like entry level stuff.
Okay, I know this is gonna be really hard for you to understand, but biology, right? Yeah, it's biology.
So, biology there for God?
Absolutely.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can't just. I mean, just look at the trees. Look at the sunset, Steve.
Natural theology. I'm gonna get some pictures here in a second here. Maybe we can look at while we're listening to this. Where's Cheshire?
It has to be a very specific sequence
don't
to
know.
create a very specific
She dipped out.
protein, and our bodies are made of proteins.
Well, collagen is a structural protein.
Parts of our bodies are largely made of proteins.
We have protein structures, which are collagen.
Different cells create different tissue, and they combine for different organs. Different organs create different systems, and systems come together for a particular organism. So this is construction happening. So imagine you've got to build something. You've got the information, the blueprint on how to build something. You tell one person, he's your messenger. He's got to take this information, and he has to bring it to a factory that is going to produce what you want produced. And then you've got...
I love the language he's using here. Like, there's an analogy here, but he's making it sound like this is like a factory. We know is something that is designed. We know that when we have automation, that somebody has to design that. And he makes it sound, and this is the same thing I see from all intelligent design proponents. They make it out to be like this is some kind of factory that has to be from some kind of intelligence, rather than just chemical reactions that are doing this because of the way the laws of chemistry work, the laws of physics work. Now, granted, it's pretty amazing how it works, but still, over iteration and successes and failures, it's not impossible to think that this is how something would come to be through naturalistic mechanisms and teleological mechanisms. Right. Now, I'm not a naturalist, but I'm just saying it's not.
I wonder at what stage of evolution he believes that these things were made. Like, is that the first stage?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm going to be showing a picture here in a second, and all he had to do was basically show this picture here. People actually wanted to get an idea of what this. Oh man, this is like huge. Looked a lot smaller when I downloaded it. But for people that are curious what he's talking about here, this picture here, if you guys can see it, this right here, this molecule up here that looks like a T is a tRNA, and it has a specific codon on the bottom. Should be a codon at the very bottom, which is going to be what is put on that peptide strand that's coming out of the ribosome. So this red thing is a ribosome. The top part is a large subunit. The bottom is a small subunit. And when it reads it, it'll say like ACC. There's a codon, anticodon that's going to be attached to that. A goes to U, C goes to G, as we know. And so whatever codon will fit that three-letter sequence, that's what's going to be produced. And it'll come out the back of the ribosome. You have 3 regions of the ribosome. So this mRNA will be read, and as it produces a protein, on the very top there, it's going to produce this peptide chain. That peptide chain is going to be what's called a polypeptide chain, which if it's over a certain amount, will be called a protein. I think the smallest protein is like 44, if I remember correctly, and I think the largest is around like 41,000 or something. But this is what he would be trying to describe if he's going to be using it in some kind of biological lecture. Now, granted, this is the Hangout's not for that. So if I was actually going to do a presentation on how ribosomes would do this, I'd probably be a lot more in-depth and a lot more informative, but I'm not really interested in that for this particular Hangout.
I think there's something to be said for.
Go ahead.
I think there's something to be said for that. He talks a lot about how, oh, well, this is the way it is, and look how complicated it is, when that's the only way it works.
Yeah, because there's only a certain amount. There's like, the way the nucleotides will bond together, right? With A to T in their DNA, or A to U for protein synthesis, because U substitutes for T, uracil substitutes for thiamine. These are just because the way the molecular bonds work. Right? Now, again, I'm not a biologist. I have to go back a lot of years to my biological courses to remember a lot of this shit. But people that are biologists, I'll have one come in and they can explain this to people a lot better than I possibly could. If people want, if people are interested in that, we can have another discussion on protein synthesis. So when people like this, atheism versus logic, talk about this stuff, at least people know what the hell he's talking about. Because I think this is one of those things where he says, hey, this is nifty, this is cool, ergo, a deity. And I just think that's a very, very bad argument myself.
Who's got to go get the material necessary to build that specific object you want. So think about that. Have you ever managed people? That's very difficult. So many things get lost in translation. The wrong things are brought.
These are chemical reactions, not a leadership. This is not a business.
And this
dude.
is necessary for life. Because if you have DNA, you don't have life. The DNA
we don't know
has
that
to be
for sure.
copied.
Hang on, real quick. We don't know that for certain. All we have is that life, as we know it, on Earth is based upon DNA. I don't know of anybody that suggests that there might be other ways of having life through RNA, because I think that's part of the RNA world hypothesis. I'm going to get my layout together while I'm doing this. But that's just something we know, that from observation, that life has based upon DNA on this planet. But they may not necessarily be the only type of life possible, right? So I think there's making a jump in reasoning there.
Yeah, there's a few jumps going on here.
Do you want to go into more detail on that, or?
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to get this layout. Oh my goodness.
I think he. I'm
so bad at producing. Why do you guys watch this shit? I suck at music and I suck at graphics. So why do you guys watch this? It's like 95% stuff that like Cheshire can do. Well, go watch her.
Because you don't get talks about biology on my channel. You get you get no talking in art.
Oh.
Information copied that's brought to the ribosome from the mRNA has to be turned into an actual protein. Well, that's not going to happen without amino acids. So something has to bring the amino acids in. The ribosome itself is made of proteins and RNA. And so, man, it's just so amazing. So I'm going to link a video showing you this. Now, it kind of oversimplifies it because it only shows what it calls a protein that's 5 amino acids long. Well, that doesn't exist.
Well, that's because if it's 5 amino acids wrong, it'd just be a peptide. It's not long enough to be a protein. Ouch! Okay, I don't need my high-pitched hearing. Stop. I'm old. Don't do that.
It wasn't even loud.
Yes, it was. When you're wearing headphones, it is.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Are you in pain?
No, I was just going to screech into the microphone.
No, don't do that. No, somebody did that once a long time ago on Discord. And my ear still kind of bothers me every so often because of it.
Well, that's no good. Yeah, we don't want to break people's fucking...
Proteins are
It was kind of loud.
Told you.
And they're made of many amino acids, typically hundreds. I think there's some proteins that are made of close to 1,000 amino acids.
I think 40,000 is, I guess maybe look it up, but I think 40,000 is one of the longer protein chains, and I think the smallest is around 40 something, so...
So
my concern is that his entire spiel falls apart immediately as soon as you go into that. It's the way it is because it's the only way it functions as far as we know currently.
Yeah.
For this type of cell. So the thing is like, oh, well, look how complicated it is. It's like, yeah, we wouldn't have it if it didn't do it that way. So it's not really that complicated because it's the only way.
Well, he also makes the argument that inside the ribosome, there's R proteins. And these R proteins, he argues, can only be produced from DNA. But there's a chicken and egg problem, right? Because you need the DNA to produce the R proteins that are in the ribosomes, but you need the ribosomes to read the messenger RNA to produce the protein. So there's a chicken egg problem, but the problem is there's no chicken and egg problem because we know that proteins can be produced by other means. We know that the R proteins over a period of time probably start off, the prokaryotic ribosomes are different from the eukaryotic ribosomes. The large subunit, the small subunits, they're different sizes. And we know that RNA has catalytic actions. We know that the ribosomes have what's called ribozymes in it, which are able to catalyze things because RNA can act as a catalyst. When a catalyst does it, it lowers the activation energy of a particular reaction. Proteins generally do that. Proteins are generally what produces the enzymatic functions. That's one use of proteins. There's many things. You can structural proteins, there's enzymatic functions, there's regulatory RNA that produces things. There's a whole bunch of different things in chemistry and biochemistry that I do not know much about. So if you want to have somebody come on to actually explain it to people, I'm fine with that because, again, I'm not a biologist. But I do know enough to know that proteins act as an enzymatic catalyst. And there's also RNA that can do the same thing. So the RNA hypothesis is basically saying that we don't need DNA to produce some of this stuff in the early type of life because over time it produced now what we have is a DNA to mRNA to translation that produces the protein. But that's not how it always was. And he's just looking at it as from now and saying, well, now we have a problem if that's something that poofed into existence. But nobody thinks that it was poofed into existence. They think it came from precursors that were based upon RNA.
Magic fairy farted. And then that's how the universe formed.
So we're talking about a very long, specific chain that's going to fold on itself and create a three-dimensional protein. So watch that.
Real quick on that. Protein folding is pretty interesting. Proteins work because they have to be folded in a very specific way, and they have what's called chaperones. It'll go into this container called a chaperone. It doesn't have to have a chaperone, but some of them will go into a chaperone, and it'll do all this folding stuff, and that'll make the protein be in a specific structure, like hemoglobin will be in a very specific structure that has heme in it. So you have these iron ferrite atoms in it that have to be in a very specific place, and it's really interesting. But protein folding is very, very complicated, but it is based upon the fact that there's conformational changes because of affinities and charges on these particular amino acids in the protein. So it is physics and chemistry. And again, I'll have like Sigart, I'll have somebody come in, and we'll just have a discussion on these particular topics because I think they're fascinating, and I got a review anyways on it because I haven't looked at biological stuff in a long time.
That video and then really ask yourself the tough questions because I think atheism, no offense, is a joke.
It's a joke. Sorry, Cheshire, it's a joke.
No, my whole life's a joke. It's fine.
Yeah. And the reason it's a joke is because he thinks that because these things are really cool and they're nifty, that they require some kind of intelligence, that makes atheism.
It's a joke because things are complicated and he doesn't understand them.
Right. Now, I mean, he's not the only one. There are people that understand it that buy into this too. Behe, Myers, Dembski, Sigart even, would probably advocate for this kind of position. But as like I talked to Hugh Ross and I talked to Fuzz Rana, who's a biochemist, at least they admit that's not ready to be science yet. So I'm cool with that. As long as they're doing it as long as a science, but they're doing it more of a philosophical approach. He's already in the realm of science. He's like, oh, look, this is a done deal. This is science saying there must be an intelligence. No.
Sick joke.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What, did he just say it's a sick joke?
Yeah, atheism is a sick joke. Sorry, people.
What? But, oh. Okay.
This is, again, I think this is because people have misunderstandings of the science.
Something, burning people at the stake for being witches in 2019, something.
Yeah, they seem to neglect a lot of the stuff that has
I think he's just mad because we shit on him when he came in here.
We were pretty nice to him.
We were nice
He's
to
a
him,
nice
but
guy.
except that, like, it probably didn't feel that way to him.
Yeah, I somebody has points out again in the live chat. He's talking to like people on their like 7th grade level, right? It's like, come on, or 7 years old. That's one thing that bugs me. He's talking down to people like, you're an atheist and you're just too stupid to realize that God exists.
Oh, no, hold on. He's not talking to atheists.
Oh, you think he's just talking to like people that already buy into this stuff and that?
What this is preaching. He's preaching. He's preaching. Okay. Yeah, this is basically a sermon.
Okay.
Because I've heard this sermon before.
I got you. I don't doubt that.
Look at these things. Man, I wish Darwin could have seen these.
Darwin,
someone could show these videos to Darwin, go back in time, and he'd be like...
I don't think Darwin would have been like, oh, okay, we're going to go back to teleological explanations now. I think Darwin would have said this is what we would have expected given teleonomic approaches to science. Because what Darwin did was Darwin showed that things like evolution, even though he didn't know what genes were, he showed that evolution can exist and show the appearance of design. That was the whole point of teleonomic approaches, is that things can look designed, but when we really look at it, it's because of nature's designing it. And that doesn't require an actual intelligence. It gives the appearance of such, but we know for a fact there are very complicated things out there that do not require an intelligent agent, but they have the appearance of something that's been designed by intelligence. That's called teleonomic design. That's one of the benefits. I should say that's one of the big things that evolution gave to us, was that we can show that things don't have to necessarily have a teleological backing to it.
Like, oh shoot, that couldn't happen by natural processes.
Yeah, it could.
And even now, man, I challenge scientists. If you're a scientist, or if you know a scientist, and they think this stuff happened by natural processes, well then create it in a lab.
Oh, see. This is what really bugs me with this guy. That is a God of the gaps fallacy, and it's a little bit of argument from ignorance. What he's saying is, hey, you can't reproduce it, therefore must be God. Now, we have not been able to produce a lot of things, but there's things that we can produce, and even the Urey-Miller experiment showed that we could produce complex carbons in a lab, which somebody before would said, oh, you can't do that. Right? We knew that amino acids have been produced that way.
Yeah, and some people still say we can't go to space.
Yeah, we can't land on the moon.
God is in space, I guess. Whatever. Moon is made of cheese.
So for the fact that we haven't been able to get where they want to be yet in abiogenesis, therefore, God, we're getting close. I think that in the next couple decades, maybe, or at least definitely within this century.
We could be not in a place that they're comfortable making the call to say that their particular God doesn't exist. That's fine. That's okay. If you're like, you know what? I don't have enough of the science. I don't think the science in this area is solid enough for me to make a claim that this particular God is or is not true. Then do that. Don't be like, oh, the science isn't good enough, therefore God. That's the extra step you're taking. That's the leap that doesn't follow.
And do you think that, because I keep saying, like, I'm a little bit older, so I've seen people move the goalpost over the years. Oh, yeah. At one time, they can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And we keep on doing that. So if, let's say 100 years from now, we did produce life in a lab, where do you think somebody like this would be at that point? They would move, again.
They would move it.
Of course they would, but what would be the next goalpost do you think they're moving to?
It depends on how far we are in AI, I think, at that point in time. So if we're able to reproduce life basically and make a human being from clay, which we wouldn't really make it out of clay, but you get the analogy.
Yeah, that's called a golem, by the way.
Yes. You're talking to a D&D nerd.
Yeah, okay. Homunculus.
Listen, it's
that's a Jewish type of golem, actually.
There is more than one kind of golem.
Yeah, but the original one, wasn't that it was a Jewish mythos, wasn't it? That they made a human out of clay, and if I remember correctly, I don't know. Where's Jim when you need him?
I'm pretty sure it's in a couple of different mythos.
I need a good Jew, because I'm a bad Jew, trust me.
Because you could definitely, one of my favorite golems is a flesh golem. And it's always fun when you take the characters that the D&D party has fallen in love with, and you kill them all and stitch them together and make them into a flesh golem.
She's a mean DMer, by the way. I mean, she does not care if your character dies or anything. She just it's like the Deck of Many Wonders, and you pull that void card, where you just irrevocably are destroyed. She's very happy when that happens.
Listen, you shouldn't have pulled from the deck.
Take your chances, man. Spin the wheel. Take your chances.
Spin the wheel,
Right?
50-50-90. Every time there's a 50-50% chance, there's a 90% chance you're going to get it wrong.
Exactly.
Pieces necessary to life, put it in a, do whatever you need to do to try to create a living cell. I bet you can't do it.
Okay, so
right?
what?
So if it can't happen in a lab,
how much you want to bet?
These things
What's the time frame?
Yeah, I would say the next couple of years is possible because they've come a long way in protocells, and even then, people have said, well, you can't do certain things. But if you go look at the TED Talk when they talked about protocells, they're damn near about as pre-life as you can get. So we're pretty close. We're narrowing in that parameter, that range. I mean, we used to be way out here 100 some odd years ago. But now it's just we get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. That's why it's called the God of the gaps, by the way, because that gap is getting smaller that somebody can say, well, because we don't know this, therefore God. Now, that's different from saying we don't know this, there's a possibility it might be God. That's not God of the gaps. What God of the gaps is, what I think he's doing is saying God must exist because we don't have the ability to do that yet. That is definitively God of the gaps, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, absolutely. This is 100% God of the gaps.
Now, where we know so much more about how these things function, they can't do it. Now, will they be able to do it in the future? I don't know, but we're going to have to be really...
I don't know. Argument from ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, here's the thing. He says, well, we don't know. Well, what happens if they can do it? This whole argument goes to shit, which I've seen happen over decades of people saying we can't do this, and their argument went to shit after it was done.
I would love to have him come back and explain to us the hypothetical as if, what if we do it? And we'll treat it more, we'll treat it more like a hypothetical than it actually is, but like, what is your answer then? Where do you go from there? I think it really depends on where AI is. If automation and AI is advanced enough, because I think that's the next place it would go, because then it would be like, well, you can't create intelligence, or you can't create
We'll have to ask him next time he's on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a reasonable question. I think that's totally fair, and I would like to see where he goes with it.
Yeah, we'll bring him back on. Like I said, he was a nice guy. He's the kind of guy I want to have a conversation with. And by the way, his name's Atheism versus Logic is his channel.
Really mindful and ask the tough questions because it can be so deceiving. Just like I said with the Miller-Urey experiment, people are like, "Oh, they made life in the lab."
No! God damn it! Let me be very clear on this with the Urey-Miller experiment. There was never an expectation to create life. This is bullshit that I've heard from young Earth creationists that is just wrong. The hypothesis for the Urey-Miller experiment was they can create complex carbons. That was it. Guess what? They succeeded. And in fact, they succeeded better than they thought because they went back and retested the original experiment. And they redid the experiment, I believe, in 2008. And they found, I think, all like 20 amino acids rather than the original 4 or 6 that I think they had originally. So the experiment was a raging success. Anybody who says that the Urey-Miller experiment was designed to create life has never even looked into the experiment because that's not what the experiment was about. And this to me is pure intellectual dishonesty on his part because he didn't either A, look into the experiment or he's just parroting something that he's heard. So.
They showed that amino acids could occur naturally.
That's what the whole point of the experiment.
That is nothing compared.
Well, that isn't nothing because people were saying at the time this is what he doesn't understand. People were saying you can't just have amino acids, out of natural things. Well, the experiment showed that you could. It shat on the creationists like him at the time because they said you can't do this. Well, guess what? They proved that they could.
Surprise, surprise. Young Earth creationism, or even apologetics at this point, hasn't advanced or brought up anything new in goddamn years.
Oh, not at all. This is why I think Young Earth creationism is slowly dying out. I think it is going down. Yeah.
It shouldn't have cropped up in the first place.
So ask yourself the tough questions.
Then again, neither should the flat earthers.
True.
Scientists. You can't put that stuff together. We're talking about DNA, genetic information, It has to be in a specific sequence.
So what?
So what I'm asking is just that, man, ask the tough questions. This stuff could not happen by chance. This stuff...
And nobody claims that it has. Again,
we explain that to him so many times here.
He keeps making that same mistake.
And, okay, that to me is now it's starting to get into a little bit of dishonesty. Right. At least a little bit. And now, do I think he's doing it actively? No, I think at this point it's almost habitual. he's saying it because that's what he thinks he knows. And even though we're like, no one is saying that, he's like, yeah, but some do. And it's like, no, they don't.
No, they don't. Who says this? I'd like to meet that person. By the way, I got a light going. I got to fix that.
Could not happen by
Stop saying ask hard questions. You want to ask a question? Look it up. Find it. It's there. You can do the research. Don't just ask the question. Look for the answer.
And the worst is that he thinks that nobody's asked these questions before.
Holy shit.
It's like, oh, this is news. I'll no offense to Atheist versus Logic, because I know you're going to watch this. You're a nice guy, but you're saying the same shit I've heard for a countless amount of years. You have brought nothing to the table to YouTube that we have not heard before. At least I have brought somewhat newer arguments to the table. Now, are most of them derivative? Sure, and all arguments I think are derivative in some ways. But at least I've promulgated some of my own arguments using my own reasoning and own logic based upon things that I've read in the literature. Okay? And some of them have been notable. Matter of fact, I'm very impressed that Dr. Malik had read my argument on secondary, a second burden of proof, even though, again, derivative from other works. But he actually noted on his Facebook page that I had reviewed his work, and he was thrilled about that. I like that, right? I think that's somebody who's reading my material and says that I'm not fundamentally flawed on it. Nobody's going to be watching your video and think that you have any just great insight on this. Right? Because you've parroted nothing that has not been out there before. And the problem I have with that is that you're not advancing the conversation. You're not really looking at defining the answers, as Cheshire said. You're only looking at positing the questions, which anybody can do. Anybody can ask questions. But you're not really looking for those answers, I don't think. I could be wrong, but this is the way I'm looking at it. But, I mean, has he said anything new that you've heard?
God, no. And I'm not even... Okay, so I'm not new... But I'm not as experienced as Steve is in these arguments. But I've heard this kind of shit in church. Like this is what I mean. This is not positing science. This is not teaching anybody. This is a sermon. I'm talking at you. I'm not actually this isn't a call to action saying ask the questions. Ask the questions I told you to ask. But don't really actually go out and ask the questions to anybody who might be able to answer. This is just going to make you feel a little bit better, like you've done something. You thought about it for a minute, and you nod along with me and say, oh yeah, that's a good point. And then you move on with your goddamn day because it doesn't really matter to you.
That's about right.
Inside of a lab, not a living cell. To get these pieces to come together and do what they're supposed to do. This is crazy complex. This is amazing mechanisms. And this is, this is nanotechnology. This is construction on a very small level. And this is very specific stuff. So watch this video.
It's complicated.
Ask yourself the tough questions. And please abandon atheism. That doesn't mean you have to adopt a religion. I understand that most religions are ridiculous.
Like young earth creationism?
And they ask you to do dumb things. So you don't have to be a religious person. You just got to admit the truth. A mind is behind life. Because these complex mechanisms that are organized in an amazing way, that work together, could not come about by natural processes. If they can, show me in a lab.
That's a hell of a claim. And by the way, that is an argument for ignorance, I think. But at least the way he's trying to purport it a little bit, But anyways, I mean, he's not actually specifically saying as an argument ignorance, but I do think he holds because it has not been shown in a lab. Therefore, ergo, it cannot be.
Okay, so one. They're not positing what he says they're positing.
True.
2, it has been, to the best of our current capabilities, which are advancing exponentially. Thirdly, fuck off. Don't tell me what to do. I'm done with you crazy. We explained this to you.
That's what's frustrating, right?
You don't understand what probability is. You came out with a video not long after we did our hangout. It's been within a week, and you clearly did none of the research. Your analogy is bad, and nanotechnology has nothing to do with any of this.
I don't know where that was out of left field. Yeah, but I mean, I gotta give credit. He's keeping us entertained.
I mean, at least he's trying.
Yeah,
I'll give you A for effort. I don't know what you're trying to do, but you are trying.
I think he's like one of those like new to the internet. I'm just going to run the same arguments I've heard from other people, and that's It's fine and dandy, but it's not going to make you a name for yourself when you're just parroting stuff we've talked about so many times and corrected people on. Brian Stevens, $2. Create a human right now or admit you're wrong. Exactly. By the way,
I can go do that.
Real quick, Brian Stevens.
I'm a girl. I can go make a person right now. It'll take 9 months.
Do you need some help with that? Wait? Do you need some help with that? I mean, I'm not volunteering because I'm not going to go all the way up there, but I know people that might want to volunteer. Brian Stevens, get with me later. I got to have Brian Stevens on. We're going to have a maybe next week. Let's do it, Brian. Let's do a statistics hangout and let's talk about the null hypothesis because I know you want to talk about that. So get with me. Email me. Pick a day that you want next week, except for Monday. Any day next week. Message me the time, the date you want, and let's do a hangout on that because I'm really getting so sick of people saying things like atheism is a null hypothesis. No, that's stupid. It's wrong. It's statistically wrong, and certainly I can't find it anywhere in any kind of epistemological.
Are they getting that from Nathan Thompson?
Could be.
No.
Nathan Thompson, the flat earther?
Yeah. What about the null hypothesis for gravity, though?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he does say that a lot. Yeah.
Can somebody please send me some facepalm protection? I have none.
You need some.
I need some.
Anyways, guys, you know what? We're going to keep this down to 90 minutes because people want to go back and watch the original part of this, which was the comment section. So I'm going to finish my coffee because I'm caffeinated out. I'm going to head out, I think. I might go have some more coffee or actually alcohol at Applebee's. They're having a $1 Malibu.
Why not both? Put alcohol in your coffee.
I do that a lot, actually. I like a little sip of rum, but this is straight coffee today. But I think I might head out today. I think I might go to Applebee's, and they have $1 Malibu drinks. Now, granted, you get what you pay for, but sit and have a drink, cold drink, because it's hot as shit today.
I have to go and make a human, apparently.
Again,
gotta
taking volunteers. Yeah.
Gotta go.
Make that a Patreon level for you on your channel.
Do you think? I can't. You know what? Never mind. Forget it.
That's just creepy.
We're already demonetized.
Yeah, we're so beyond demonetization at this point. Trust me. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching again. People will probably think this is drama, which is fine. I don't really care one or another. We're going to let people know that this is not going to be something that's whitewashed. And I promised my fans and I promised the non-sequitur fans I'd keep them posted without going into too much detail. I can't tell you our legal strategy for obvious reasons, but I can only tell you that there are things in the works and that anybody who says I don't have a lawyer, because I've heard that as well, I can tell you right now, you're fundamentally wrong.
I have a video coming out as soon as this is done.
Oh, wait, on YouTube or one of those other types of platforms?
On YouTube.
Okay.
So it's already posed and ready to go.
Awesome.
Join us next week for more coffee or tea or whatever caffeine crap you're drinking. More drugs.
By the way, I haven't figured out. I'm doing the lead out right now, and I haven't figured out how to mute it so people can't hear us during the exit. But whatever. Good night, guys.